Hello, today is March 3rd, 2025. I'm meeting today with Mr. Ricky Bostic
That's correct.
at the Homelake Veterans Home in Monte Vista, Colorado. My name is Brad Hoops. I'm the interviewer for Remember and Honor. Thank you, Ricky, for sitting down today to tell your story.
My pleasure.
All right. Let's start out, if we could. Tell us a little about yourself, your date of birth, where you were born, a little bit about your family.
Well, I was born in a medium-sized town in the south, North Carolina, a town called Gastonia.
What's
Gastonia.
Okay.
Gastonia, Gastonia, North Carolina. It was mostly textiles, cotton mills, things like that.
Okay.
And so it was a pretty good life, you know.
Yeah. Any brothers and sisters?
I have a brother, a younger brother. He's 5 years younger than I am.
Okay.
Dad may be around 6. I haven't seen him many years, any of my family, many years. And I have my mom, I think she still lives in Gastonia in assisted living. My dad, last I heard, he was living in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, last time I saw him. And my brother, he lives outside of Albuquerque, somewhere out in there, New Mexico.
So you grew up, went through the school system there in Gastonia then?
Yes.
Yeah. Any fond memories or any thoughts of, as your childhood, that stories that float to the top as we sit here talking that you can think of?
Well, it was quite a few enjoyable times I had. Many challenges that I enjoyed. For instance, learned how to swim there. They were very good at teaching us how to swim. And then we moved to the coastline, Carolina Beach for a while. Then we'd come back for a while, go back for it. So I had some time on the coastline. I really enjoyed it down there.
Yeah.
So swimming, and at a young age I was fascinated with shooting pool, playing pool.
Oh, okay.
Fascinated. I just had a knack for it. I was fascinated by pool balls. And to me it was a mathematical dance.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes, the way you could take your pool stick and put English on the cue ball and make it dance around, do things, and you had all these other shots planned in your mind. It was a fascinating game. I loved it. I played that most of my life.
Do you still play to this day?
Well, my back bothers me a bit nowadays, so I leave it alone. Just can't quite do it anymore.
Okay.
But I did that for many years. I became very, very good at it.
Really? I'll be darned.
Yeah, I lived it, breathed it. As also, when I was, I think, 14, I wanted to make a little extra money. So I got a job, it's called Curb Hop, where they had drive-in restaurants, and they had these young boys, about 14, 15, 16, would go out and take the order, bring it in, on the train, take it out.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Take it out to them, and I just loved it. So I went through that, and then there was another place called Tom's Barbecue. They made their own barbecue down there. That was a big rival thing to have. And something called barbecue slog, which you can't find anywhere else anymore. I don't even know if those places are around here. But it was delicious, and that was the rivalry in Gastonia between and it was cousins that I was involved in business. So there was a little war going on there. And so, and I worked for three of the families through the years. And it became like a staple even after I finished high school. I stayed with that because I worked my way till I just worked the morning shift, make some tips, easy. Got where I knew a lot of people in town, regulars. So it was a nice way to make some money and just having fun.
Yeah.
And at night I would go out and play pool. Now I wasn't taking that as seriously until my mom and dad had split up when I was about, I think, 11, and I would help take care of my younger brother, and my dad was a truck driver, so he was very stern, very strict. I had to do everything just so, and if anything went wrong, it was on me. Plus I had to make straight A's in school, you wouldn't have anything less than that. It was just, It was rough. But it helped me in some ways too. So it was double-sided for me. So I became my own person there when I was 14, 15, 16. I became more interested in making money and finding my way than I did school. Now last year at school, I was a straight A student, but I couldn't do both.
Yeah, right.
I couldn't do both. And my dad said, well, you just pay me so much a week, as long as I get my money, I don't care. My brother, he went back with his mom and stuff, so the dynamics switched, between the age of 11 and 16, the dynamics had flipped. So I was pretty much on my own.
Wow.
I bought my own car to do what I wanted. I thought, okay, so I didn't do well the last part of the last semester of the school, because I was trying to work second shift, sometimes double over at work. It just wasn't working. I just didn't have it. So I got caught up in that, and I got to the point where I knew if I didn't stop one, I wasn't going to graduate. Well, it's in the 10th grade. It wasn't graduate, but to make it through the 11th grade. So I stopped going for a while. The grades went down. I knew I was going to have to go back into the 10th grade. I didn't want that. My dad didn't know any of this stuff right away, and during that time, until a while after I wasn't even going to school anymore. He realized, well, you just paid me so much a week for board, but you're on your own. I was anyway.
Yeah, right.
So, didn't really have any plans, so I just thought, I think I'll just find out about life. I'll just enjoy life for a while. I had my own independence now, as long as I pay like I think it was $25 a week, I can do what I want. So it's like having the key to the candy store. So yeah, I could go out, and they had these nightclubs where you poof money. They had these all-night clubs there in the Gaston County area. It was very kind of a dangerous place to be. These southern states had counties, and it was like an underground mafia type thing.
Oh.
And they were run like this. They had some wars going on between them. I don't know if you recall this, but in the early 70s there was a movie called Walking Tall that came out.
Yeah.
And it was about these clubs and how this fellow, Buford Pusser, a true story, he goes into one of these clubs, his friend talks him into going, and he finds out, well, the gambling's all crooked, which it was, everything's crooked, and he said, no, I want my money back, you cheated. He found the dice, switching the dice, and they made a point to teach him a lesson, and they carved him up real good. So, but he came back with a vengeance, became the sheriff, and got justice in the town. Well, that's the type of places these were. There were all-night tours. Back then, it was supposed to be 18 to get in.
Yeah.
Maybe then you could buy liquor, beer, anything at 18. I was 16.
Jeez.
I thought, well, cousin of mine wanted me to go with him. That's how I went the first time. I never drank anything in my life. So he said, oh, you're going to love it. You can get these Dixie cups for vodka, just a shot of orange juice in it for $1. They have live bands every night. They have pool tables. You'll love it. Oh, okay. He said, there's girls. Oh, I said, hey. So I did that, and I told him I was 18. Yeah, I just kind of took my ID and went like that. They were just relentless on him. So I thought, I got to thinking, well, I heard he's going to start cracking down on that. It's having too many underage people there. I thought, well, how can I get through this? I think I'll go in very confidently, pull my driver's license out and show it to him. Say, I'm here again. How's it going, Joe and Bob? Oh, yeah. Go. He didn't look at my license. I was 16, but he didn't let him look at it. So I played a bait and switch trick. I had some close calls in there. There was a lady that was bartender there. She kind of took me under her wing. She saw I was a kid, just having fun, but I didn't know the real dangers. I just couldn't comprehend just how dangerous it really was. Wow. And I almost got torn up one night for sitting at long picnic tables in there. I was by myself. When I came in, she said, "Do not sit with these people over there. Do not." Well, there was a long picnic table. It was like 3 of them in line. I went to the other end. I thought, okay, I'm here by myself. I'm just here waiting on the band to start. What I would do, I'd go in and play pool until the band would start, and I have enough money to get through the night. So I just wanted to kind of slip through the cracks. I wasn't trying to be a hustler or anything like that. They'd be playing for $1, $5. I wouldn't have to cover my night. I'd go watch the band. I was having a good time. But they were going to teach these group a lesson. The bouncers were. They hated these guys. On the other end, I didn't know them. And they came in and grabbed me by the scruff of my shirt and was going to mix me up with them. Here, Diane, the lady who lives after me, she came slowly around behind that bar there. She said, no, he's with me. No, he's not with them. He's not with them. And they was dragging me across the floor. And she said, no, you got to understand, he is not with them. And they had these billy sticks they take back. They were very serious. It's like the movie Walkie Talkie. Once they take you out of there, they take you behind the building and beat you. If you live, fine. If you don't, fine. No one investigated it back then. And they just leave you in a ditch. But I got lucky there. I had a lot of close calls.
Wow.
And as I started getting more serious about the pool, and more brazen, I started going out to these bars all over South Carolina and these country folk and country places. I went to one bar didn't even have a name on it, somewhere out in South Carolina. It looked like an old house. I went there and I played pool with it. The house hustler was going to hustle me, but he didn't know how good I was. So I out-hustled the hustler. He wasn't going to have that. He wasn't going to have that. He said he just got his paycheck that day. I think it was $96 for working a week at the cotton mill. And he's going to make some off me. But when he didn't, he said, well, I got more money. I said, well, maybe next time. No. He said, you don't understand. You're not going anywhere. He goes up to the bartender and said, oh, you're not going anywhere. We're just getting started. I said, well, he has more money. He said, but you do. He said, so you might as well get ready to play. I thought, what am I going to do now? So, well, excuse me, Mom, I went to the bathroom. They had bars on the one window. There's only one way out. What am I going to do this time? I go back in there and I said, all right, since we're going to play, let's play for some serious money, okay? Whatever you want. They're just smiling and smirking. By this time, all the other people they had gathered around, when I went to the bathroom, they were getting together and said, we're going to teach them, we're going to lesson and take his money and beat him to death. It's so far out of the country, I didn't even know where I was. You know, way out of the woods. So I said, well, all right. Then we agreed to $50 a game, whatever you want to. I said, well, if we're going to play some serious pool, at least it's important that I get my own pool stick that's in the backseat of the car. I said, hey, at least give me that much. You want to play some serious pool? Let's play some serious pool. I said, okay, but you better not try it. I said, no, you can watch me. Just go in my car, right there. There's just put gravel out in front, just gravel. I said, I'll be right back and you watch me. I kept the door open, they were in there watching me too. I better get out of here now. So I go, it was a Ford LTD. I already knew that the battery was about dead. The generator wouldn't charge it up. I thought, I hope I have another start of this, because I've been putting it off to get the new battery in it. So I go, I get in the car, I look in my rearview mirror, I put the key in, I see them looking like this. I started walking toward this. I tried to start the car, it went room. I sit there and here they come walking. They're figuring it out, what I'm trying to do. I said, okay, let's try it again. Room. said, okay, Lord, it's going to be the end. I've had a short life. It's been a good run while it lasted, but you know what they're about to do to me. So I knew I had enough juice in there maybe for one more try, just one more. At this time, they're starting walking the whole group in there, just like you'd see in a movie. They went run, run, run. They started up. And I thought, well, okay, here they come. I said, all I can do is floorboard it, sling that gravel, just get out of here fast before they get to their cars and get to me or shoot me or whatever. I looked at my rearview mirror, and my car was sliding on that gravel on the floorboard. And they were going, like that, throwing rocks and pinging off my, and I could see this guy sitting there screaming. And I got out there. I never went back to that place, I'll tell you that. But that was a close one. I had a few close calls like that through the years.
Wow.
But that was one of those stories that I recall. I've told that to a few people over the years, they just don't believe it. So I know it sounds like something you'd see in a movie, but it really did happen.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it was good times. I'm just a kind of happy-go-lucky person. And one night, I got too cocky. I got too confident. I was playing for money, playing this guy. I knew he put other people up, play pool. He was like an underground dope dealer kind of side guy. I didn't mess with that stuff. I drank some beer. I drank beer. And that's it. But this night, I had these guys. I won, and I went like I usually do, but I won this guy's money. He was betting on this guy, so I played more for more than I usually play. I won like $200 or $300, which usually I win about 20. So that was a lot. I was getting cocky. I was letting them bump it up a little bit, bump it up. I was becoming more confident in myself. So the band went on a break. So I went in my car. It was a summer night. I was just sitting in my car, and I would lay on the hood of my car and just look at the stars in the sky and drink a beer there. I was feeling, hey, I got it. The world about to tell, man. Here come these guys saying, come on, we're going to smoke this with us. Well, all right, hey, we're going to a party. Something about that didn't sound right. They talked me into leaving my car there and riding with them. This is how foolish I was. And I could see they were whispering stuff to that guy that put money up on this other fellow earlier. And he wasn't happy. Because I quit. The band, I told him, when the band starts, I'm quitting. That's why I was mad at him. He wanted his money back.
Yeah.
And mine too.
Yeah.
And he had the house favorite that he was backing. But I quit when I said we quit. No one told him that. He wouldn't have that. So they took me to a place up in, about 40 miles up the road, a place called Shelby, North Carolina. Out in the country, old trailer park, and a group of guys, and I said, okay, where is it? I saw them huddling in one bedroom, and they threw me down on the couch and started wailing on me. I said, it's like they were a little gang. I said, you know what we agreed on? Everybody's got to do their part, and you know what we're going to do when we finish with it. They're going to throw me out in the woods, or bury me, or whatever they're planning to do. I could hear them talking while one guy went in and, bang, bang. But these guys, they were not hardcore guys. They're fighting and all this. They weren't. And one guy said he didn't want any more part of it. Didn't want any part of it. Then they started arguing, hey, we're in this together or not. I thought, here's my chance. I get up and ran out the door. I ran in school, I was a marathon runner. So I knew if I could get out that door, I had it. So I got out that door and ran, they were screaming and hollering. I wrote this guy way out in the country. Well, let's try it. I got to get back somehow. I didn't even know where I was to get back to the road to get back. Woke him up in the middle of the night. He got his son out and they drove me all the way back to my car. But I lived, but they stole all my money that I was carrying around my wallet. It was over $2,000.
Oh.
Which is a lot of money. I was foolish.
Yeah.
I was just foolish.
Yeah.
Well, my Aunt Hazel, she always looked after me. So she stood up for me. She said, "You're not going to get away with that." So we went through this court system and all showed up because they had records and I didn't. They had to do some time and pay me back the money. So again, that was just one of those things. That's where I was lucky again. I just got the breaks. So where are we at then?
So we're going like, I guess, through the age of 16 to...
Yeah, okay, right.
On.
There you go. So in the meantime, I would work something. I kept my little part-time job. And I told myself, I'm not going to play this pool for money anymore. I'm getting away from this. So I was going to get a legitimate job and keep my little part-time job, save up some money and see what I wanted to do then. So I'd work at a mill, usually a yarn boy they call it. Stack the yarn, have the yarn for people doing other jobs there. And it was just a job, it was a thankless job. It was all cotton and stuff in your nose and everything. And I looked around and people had been there like, they tell me they were like 40 and they looked like they were about 70 who hunched back for doing that dolphin spinning. I thought, is this what I'm going to do till I'm 65 years old? I'm just turning 19, 20. So I realized I wasn't going to continue. I would do that for a couple of weeks, stop, and need some money, I'd get another job. They had like 28 of those. They had those all through the county. But after a while, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I've had it with this. So it just went like that for a while. It came to a time when I was 20. I looked around and the other couple was there. They were 14 and 15 and I'm 20. I realized I was going to have to figure something out. Here I am, high school dropout. Where do I go? Well, at that time, just so happens, it was a time when the air traffic controllers went on strike. It was in 1982, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And the president at the time, President Ronald Reagan, said he was not going to allow them to unionize. He said they already have the best conditions, the best pay, the best everything of any working class that there is. Even though it was a difficult job, you could never make a mistake ever. Lives could be lost, a lot of money lost. Well, they went on strike anyway. And he said, fine. They're all fired, and he said, now we're going to hire new air traffic controllers to cover all their jobs. I thought, if I could learn how to be an air traffic controller, 20 years I would be retired and have plenty of money, ultimate benefits, there you go. Well, at first I was going to be a DJ. And I got thinking more on that. Well, I could get in there and get that. 20 years, I'm set. DJ would be fun, but it wasn't going to be a lucrative way. This is going to be highlight for a young person like me. And here's an opportunity that I wasn't going to get. Also, I knew so I went to the Air Force. They were glad to have me. I went back and told my dad. He wasn't happy about that at all. I said, they're going to start me out as a DJ, teach me, and then I could test for the other if I wanted to. They were real nice to me. He said, you don't want to be in the Air Force. Only food's going to be in the Air Force. He always put me down to everything. I said, what's that? He said, funny. Is that what you are? I always wanted my dad to be proud of me for something. His dream was always to have gone into the Navy. So what I do, I go down to the Navy recruiting office. Never even had any thoughts of going in the Navy. I didn't want to travel on a ship everywhere. And they weren't so happy to see me. I went down there and said, well, I'd like to sign up for air traffic control school. He said, son, you realize what you're asking for? I said, well, don't you train people? He said, well, first of all, how much education do you have? I said, well, went through the 10th grade. He started laughing at me. Yeah, I dropped out of 10th grade to work. But I made great grades. I was doing great. I believe I could do this. He said, no, you don't want to do this. He said, why don't you come back and pick something else? I said, well, can I at least test for it? Will you allow me to do that now? He said, all right. He's getting all frustrated with me now. Because he saw me as just a little cocky little country boy, drop out, and he didn't have time to mess with me. That was the type of person that was going to the test for air traffic control school. He wasn't going to have that. And he sure didn't like for me to push the issue. I'll test for it. Let me test. You're going to be here all day anyway. Yeah. Just let me test. We'll find out. It was a test that had 100 questions on it. You had 1 hour to finish it. Every question had to be finished. And you could not miss more than 2 questions. So he said, now, go ahead, if you're funeral. I said, well, you're going to be here all day? He said, we'll find out. Well, I passed it. I only missed 1. I only missed 1. He said, okay, what do I do then? I said, all right, that's what you want to do. I said, yeah, I'd like to try this. He said, well, you understand, less than 22% graduate air traffic control school. Now, you're going to sign this 3-year contract. You're going to sign a 4-year contract. And if you do not make it through the air traffic control school, we can do with you whatever we want to until your 4 years are up. And we're going to, I promise you, if you do not make it, you're going to wish you never did try for this. You may regret this. Because you sure that's what you would do. I said, well, I passed the test. The interview was I couldn't have passed the school. He just said, fine. He would get on the phone. He got on the phone and he was so mad he was red in the face. I already seen this type of thing before. You're going to teach me a lesson. Well, you're going to teach me a lesson, but if I make it through the school, I can earn the respect. Just like I was always trying to earn my dad's respect, and their respect. I went and told my dad that I was going to be an air traffic controller in the Navy. 4 years, and I passed the test. He said, why would you want to be air traffic controller? I thought you just wanted to play records on the record player. What's wrong? You can't be an air traffic controller. So I passed the test. He said, but you don't care anything about that. Why don't you just go on and play records for Air Force? Because you said I'd be a fruit on it. He said, well, when did you start listening to me? I didn't tell you to do this and that. I said, well, your dream was going in the Navy. He said, well, why do you want to do it? That's crazy. So I'm thinking, now I'm going to the Navy. I never wanted to live on a ship anyway. Yeah. I'm signed up for this. And that's how I got into there. I made it through boot camp.
Where'd you take your boot camp?
In Orlando, Florida. Okay. Orlando, Florida. And air traffic control schools in Millington, Tennessee.
How was that transition going from a civilian into military? Did you have much of an adjustment there, or was that fairly easy for you?
Well, my plan there was just to stay low-key. And stay not be the one that's getting the most attention from being lagging behind. I don't want the most attention from being the best at anything. Just stay in the middle, be invisible. This wasn't about highest grades. It was just about getting through.
Yeah.
We'll worry about the grades later in school. So I knew I could run well. So I figured, okay, I'll get through this all right. Some things I struggled with, some push-ups and some pull-ups, but I got through it. I did some things I'm very weak at, like making my bed up so tight that you can flip the quarter on it. How am I going to do this? I don't want to draw this attention. So I had the fellow below me, he was good at making his bed. I asked him, show me how you do that with mine, just one time so I can see what it's like. He would make my bed up. I wouldn't mess it up. I took that little blanket and laid on top of it at night. And when you got out of bed, You only have 5 minutes, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, be outside. How am I gonna do this? Well, I take that, as soon as they started screaming, hitting the trash cans and things, I would just roll off that top bunk. When I hit the floor, I went up. How was that? I would get that little blanket on top, one fold back. That's how I got through that. Just learn how to play.
Yeah, very smart.
So, yeah. So, and then got through that.
So then you went on to Tennessee to air traffic school?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, there were 2, 3, 4 blocks. They call it four different sections of this school. First section is, I think it was, 3 weeks. And the middle section, that's the hardest one. I think it was 5, 6, 7 weeks. It was tough. And then the last section, last block, seemed like there was another one in there, an early one. But that's basically, in the last block, it was only 1 day. Well, I'll find out what that is when we get to that last one. Thing is, again, you cannot miss get more than 2 things wrong in the whole school. Pardon me, in each block. In each block, you cannot miss more than 2 in each block. But I think there was a limit for the school, I think 5 in the entire school. Or you flunked out. They got you and could do with me whatever they wanted. Well, at first it was just like your schoolroom, just basic things, wasn't that really about tough stuff, just the easy stuff out of a book, and be tested on it. I wasn't taking it that seriously, so it's a breeze. And they came in with a pop quiz one day. Pop quiz? Yeah, I missed one. Okay, I won't miss any more. I got this. I better start getting serious. So, I didn't miss any more in there. Then it was time to go to the middle part. The middle section, they have long, like ping pong table, tennis, like 2 of them, long, end to end. And they had a mock-up airport with the scale size aircraft, fire trucks, all these things. I was going to be the air traffic controller. I put on the headphones and I talk. You give the instructions to the pilots, whether and then have to balance them out, change them to different heights, levels. They give me a book. On the first day, they gave me a book, each one of us a book. After we did our initial, the book, we got back the next day, and I missed one. This wasn't like the first part. This was so, and they wanted me to go first. So I didn't have anyone to play off of. I'm the very first one, the second day, the first real day of this class, and I'm the one on the hot seat. I didn't know what to do. They said, we can ask you anything out of this book, you better know it. One day. Wow. So I went there and I missed one. At the end of the class, they pulled me to the side. It was these 2 Marines guys that were the instructors. They said, look here, Bostic. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Why don't you just give up now and save face? You're not going to make it. We're going to make sure of it. You see, we put you first here for a reason. You got a southern dialect. Sound like Gomer Pyle up here. We're not going to have that. You're just making the rest of us look bad. So we thought, hey, we can use you to our advantage. We'll put you on the hot seat first. You failed. The rest of them are going to try much harder. But you weren't going to make it anyway. So why don't you just save face and quit? I said, is that all? Well, is that it? You quit? I said, no. Okay, it's your funeral. That's what you want to do. It was the weekend coming up, had 2 days to give us another book. We have to learn this, we can ask you anything, and you're going to be first. Whatever we ask you, you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to lose your southern dialect. We have to hear you clearly, precisely, with no dialect, no this twangy
Yeah.
southern style voice. It has to be like a melody, metronome. I remember they said that because I was into music very much, rhythm, beat, cadence. I learned that through pool. Cadence, it's a rhythm to it, it's music. You had that going on. Well, how am I going to memorize everything in this book where I can just pull it up, whatever they ask, and I'm going to know it. I sharpened up my 3 pencils. I have some loose leaf filler paper, put it on my desk in my room. I was the only one in this room, which was a good thing for me. And I started reading one page, then writing it down exactly like the letters on the page, printing them as I read them again, I do that 5, 6, 7 times, come on to page 2. Now, every time I'd have to go to the bathroom, take a break, go to the bathroom and look at myself in the mirror, and see how my voice and vocal cords were, and I tried experimenting with my voice. Different styles, different sounds to get all that, and get that metronome to the beat. I'd go back to that again, I would go and look in the mirror, and I would practice saying the words on that page without the dialect. Monday, when we first, they said, why don't you just save yourself face, man? Don't do this to yourself. I said, no, so they put me on there. And I did great. They couldn't do anything about it. They looked at the end of that class, I said, okay, you've got to understand, Bostic, you're not going to pass. We're going to make sure of that. You're just wasting your time. You got through this, but how much longer are you going to get through? And as the course goes on, we're just going to make it tougher and tougher, and tougher and tougher. You're not going to make it. Well, as it went on, I discovered as I found my way through this, the challenge of what they were giving me made, for me, it made it work better in my band. For some reason, maybe because of the way I was raised, but I have to be perfect when I was in school.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have anything less than, A's, straight A's. That, and have to keep the place perfect. When Dad came home, he was expected. So I had that come back to my advantage. And when I would tell Dad, when I was younger, I said, look, this one class, I don't know how I'm going to make an A. I just can't stand it, like science or whatever. He said, we will find a way that you will make less than that. You understand me? I found out a way to do it. So I was used to this. So went on. And it came to coming into the final week of this. Now, I'd already missed two. One in the first block, one in the second block. Can't miss more than 3. You miss 3, you're out of the school. So just one thing. So there was another guy in my class. It wasn't like a classroom. You all stand around this table and put your headphones on you, and other people could hear what you say. And they were up in behind glass, plexiglass, listening to everything and recording it all. And you could hear their question. Here's the scenario. Here's what it is. Here's what we got. Here's the aircraft coming in. Here's what we got down. This is closed off. This is da-da-da-da. You have to go through the proper scale of things, where each emergency has its own situation, where you put it in line, where you stack things up, and all these things. There was another guy there, and he caught me going back to the barracks one day. He said, Bostic, I'm really impressed by what you do. He said, I wouldn't have believed you made it this far. You know they're going to make it tougher on you, tougher. I said, yeah. I said, but you keep doing this. I said, well, I noticed you don't seem to be having trouble at all. He said, I don't have to. I do it stuff all the time. I know it. I have what you call photographic memory. So it's nothing big, but they really have it help for you. I said, all I can do is just the best I can. He said, I can give you a few pointers if you like. I said, sure will. So he came into my room. He said, you have to remember what they're going for on this last day, the test. They're going to put in an impossible scenario. Impossible. And they're going to color it up. I mean, there's a baby choking to death. There's a heart attack over here. There's construction's not finished up with this. So many things that just can't be. But they're going to put it on you. He said, I promise you that. Remember this. He said, I believe you'll get through it. The standard sets of what comes before another, what comes before another. He said, take away all that garnishing they put on, all of that. Just think of what type of emergency, what type of situation it is. He said, you already know what these are. That never changes. He said, that never, ever changes. But I cannot even do it. So they gave me it. Sure enough, it was like that. They said if they heard any inflection, any excitedness in my voice, they were going to fail me. Anything. And I knew this type of situation they would put me in was like, but thanks to my friend, Pete was his name. I feel playing cool. I said, you know this. They are trying to do it. He said, and this is also important if you're an air traffic controller, when emergencies come up. That's how we keep our cool. You just play it just downright through the book, like the book says. Don't get upset. Because if you get upset, the pilot's going to get upset. Others are going to get upset. You always have to keep it cool. And just remember the basics. The scenario they gave me took about 10 minutes. I took my time. He said, are you ready? Bostic, you ready? I said, I took a breath. I realized I was taking, doing it. I would run every morning to get there. I don't have like an hour's rest a night for the week. I'd do that trick of falling out of the bed. I'd run as fast as I could so my breathing was fresh. My brain was fresh when I get there. All these things really helped. So I knew when I took deep breaths, I relaxed. And I could really think clearly. I could see it. They said, are you ready? We're ready when you are. Just a moment. Another deep breath. Said, just relax. Got this. Took my time with it. Just dot. Concluded. We looked at each other. Hold on. They were listening back. Listening. And they were doing like that. They were getting frustrated behind that glass. And this went on about 15 minutes. The rest of us standing there. Okay, we're going to have this class today or what? I said, Bossy, it looks like you made it. Looks like you did all. We can't find anything. And the rest of them followed me. That felt good. Said, well, you still have to get to the final part, but if you made it through this, we believe you're going to be all right. We've never had anyone that we picked that wasn't going to make it that made it. Wow. The last class was one day. Went in there, it was like 15 minutes. We go into the class. They give us a book, I guess about 57, 58 pages, maybe 60 pages. Take this home tonight. You come back, we're going to have you 2 pencils sharpened. We're going to have you loose leaf paper. And that's all you're going to have on your desk. We're going to take these books away as soon as you get here. sit down and you have 1 hour to write down exactly every word that was in that book, just like it's written. You can't start a paragraph that wasn't supposed to be there. You can't misspell a word. If you miss more than one, that's it. Yeah. But that'd be 3 through the school, missed
Yeah.
3 things. But all I did was one mistake.
Yeah.
I went in there, I was feeling so confident about it. I wanted to show off a little bit. I went in there, with a pencil. I wrote every letter exactly the way it was on that paper. If you could have compared those papers to the book, it would have looked the same. And he said, I didn't miss a thing, it was amazing. And there was those Marine guys shook my hand and said, we don't know what to tell you, good luck. It's just amazing how it builds once it gets going.
Well, now, on top of all that pressure they were putting on you, did you find air control to be what you thought it would be? Was it enjoyable? Did you enjoy the actual?
No. It could have been.
Oh, okay.
It could have been. But still, they weren't through with me. They put me on a ship in Norfolk, Virginia. They separated me from my friend Pete. They didn't like us. They figured out we were corresponding. They still, for some reason, there was word went through somehow that I was not supposed to get through. They put him in San Diego. He had it made. I'm still in rough territory. I just kept going through, making it through. Got to the point where the lieutenant that was over the air traffic control division on the ship, the John F. Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
They were at a point that didn't know if they were going to support me or still tear me down. I knew it was coming to me. So they had us, the new people there, had us talking to Mike to real aircraft. It was the new pilots. It was just test runs. We could not make a mistake. It was see which ones that had what they may want to get behind and help move on up the ladder quickly. I realized, okay, here's my opportunity. I can do this. I can do this. So I get in there, and you have the supervisor, first class petty officer. He's listening behind me to everything. So if we make a mistake, he can correct it. Also, he can correct me and his paperwork. If I made a mistake, okay, they're going to put me aside painting bulkheads for a while longer, or whatever they want me to do. There was one guy, lieutenant, I could tell his voice, he was a little bit nervous. And this is important to them too. They didn't want any strikes on them. They just got out of the school, and first time they'd actually flown aircraft. So they knew it. They've had simulations. They had a lot of that, but they're on their own in there. So the first thing they have to do is go through all the gadgets and gauges in there. And I say check, 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 until they're finished. Well, I've never been in one of these aircraft, but I've seen pictures in the books what they look like on the inside. And I can tell by his voice, he was a little nervous. I realized there was one thing he didn't catch. He didn't catch. Now, I didn't know this guy. I said to him, the call letters of his aircraft, say again. But I said it in a way that made something in his mind think, look it over and said, oh. Well, and he did great. I did great, and the supervisor, he didn't notice anything. All right, I did good today. But that didn't work out so well. just so happened that the cadet lieutenant, he came back to my vision and was talking to the lieutenant and the chief to explain to them how what I said, my minuscule delay, somehow, just a little bit, but it's somehow, said something in my voice, said he knew I had helped him. He was there to say, hey, this guy, he really helped me out. I never thought he was going to say anything about it. He just slid through, but he did. Thinking, he was thinking, hey, they'll pat you on the back. You got this gift. Well, I was called into the lieutenant's office the next day. He said he had taken it to the captain, but underneath him, XO, executive officer, said they listened to me. I've recorded all night long to try to hear something in my dialect and the way I patterned it that I said to him, without saying it, get him to re-examine the situation. Within, it's all like to make him catch within the beat, without missing it.
Yeah.
And he cadence. So the XO can't hear it. We don't know what it is, but we know you did something because the lieutenant came and told us that. Lieutenant JG. He said, we don't know what we're going to do with this. He said, how do you do that? I said, I don't know. He said, what do you mean you don't know? You hear voices, things like that? You tell us you hear voices? I said, no, I don't hear voices. It's just that things come to me. I can see it, I can hear it. So, I don't really know how to express it. But he said, well, are you hearing voices in your head telling you? I said, no. He said, well, how do you know? I said, I guess it's a gift, maybe? I said, I really don't know how to answer that question for you. He said, a gift. He said, who gave you this gift? Where did this gift come from? I knew by what he was saying, I'd made them nervous. If I could do something without anyone being able to pick up on it, of that nature, what maybe I could do. And what I had was something that could be really good for them if they'd support me. Or I could make them nervous and they chose to laugh. The next day they sent me to Beirut as a spokesman for the ship. It was during the Beirut war situation. I said, why am I being sent over there? He said, you're being sent with 9 others from the ship, different departments. I said, what? He said, you're representing the ship, the Navy, and the country. I said, well, what do I do with this meeting? You just sit and listen, and when we bring you back, you just tell us what you saw and what you heard.
Wow.
I said, well, I don't. I said, well, you volunteered for it, you understand? This didn't feel right already. I went down over there, we had a dress clothes, dress out, uniforms on. They made me get a special card that I hadn't had before. It's one of those cards in case you caught as a prisoner of war. I never had a need for that. I wasn't a combat soldier. I had no need for that. That's the only thing we carry on. It's just that one thing. And it was a setup. They dropped us off. And we're all walking the beach there, because when we go down, the boat that brought us, they hightail it back. Here comes these little Asian-looking people in old-looking uniforms, like from World War II, with bayonets and rifles. They were screaming something and started shooting. I realized they were shooting. There was a fellow about me and the table there. He fell down screaming. I realized they shot him. So out of instinct, not from being brave or anything, just instinctiveness, jumped over on top of him, covering. And I was saying, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's just a misunderstanding. It's going to be all right. Well, they gathered us up. I don't know if he survived that. I think he did. But I did know, I had been shot in the back, too, jumping on top of him. That bullet was in there for a long time. And they took us this horrible place, and that's where it gets rough. That's where it gets rough. It was a situation where this general of this ragtag team of people up in the mountainous area there, he was the person that would bring his group down and they would cause confusion, issues, chaos. Because they wanted to be represented within all these Shiites and Muslims, this, that, and the other. But they weren't going to pay much attention to. They sit up in the mountains with their little outfits and their old hand-me-downs. We would sit there to keep him occupied, thinking he was doing something great by taking Americans. We were throwaways. None of us supposed to come back alive. I realized that. They strip us all naked, the first thing they do. And they humiliate you in every which way they could. Go in this like a bunker. Looked like it had already been bombed down. It was just hanging on rusted bars and things. And just old concrete type stuff. Like you'd think of an old World War II bunker facility. And it was up in the hills. They took us up there. They had us blindfolded before we got there. They took that off, and he was all naked. I realized this is not good. And see, you have to realize we weren't combat soldiers. We were 18, 19, 20-year-olds. I was 20, just 21, just turned 21.
Had the Beirut bombing occurred by then?
Not then.
Okay.
But it's very close.
Okay.
It's right there in a time frame.
Oh, boy.
It's when it's all really hit the fan, finally wanted him out of the way. Out up there focusing on us, feeling his Cheerios. So, the first night there, they laid down a pallet for me. And it was like hundreds of needles made of wood. And they carved them down. They told me I had to lay on that all night long. They stick you back like needles. Well, I thought I was going to get wise. There was just two guards outside there. They didn't come in. I didn't think they'd come in about one every 2 or 3 hours. I thought, okay, I'll flip it over on the flat side. Before they came back, I'll just flip it over. Because this is just going to be unbearable. Well, they picked up on that. And they beat me good with they had these bamboo sticks, bamboo things, and about 3 feet sticks with knots on them. And they kept me a solution in a bucket. I took it and that thing stung, and it was like hard like a bat, but stung too. And that's where they knocked this eye out. And I have ear problems this day here. A little blood coming out of my ear and so forth. I realized I was turning mad over again. And then it got to the point where they taken us this only room that had a solid door that was still pulled tight. It was to the left, down the end to the left. I knew something down there is where I did not want to go. So what I think, took me down there and closed it. They had a camera, but it was a bigger one.
Yeah.
It was just brand new with these video cameras. He said, I wanted me to look in that camera, tell them that I voluntarily joined so-and-so General's Army, and I denounced my citizenship, I denounced the U.S. Navy, and I freely come to a part of his group. Now, I knew that once I said this, I was going to be a traitor. I also knew I wasn't supposed to come back anyway. I had one thing left to hold on to. I wasn't going to betray what promise I made. That's all I had left. I knew none of us was going to survive. And the other guy said, do what he says, do what he says. It'll be all right if you do what he says. I said, don't you realize if I do what they say, then I'm a traitor. They're going to, don't see that, he's going to kill us anyway. Oh, he won't have to do this anymore. He's just he's telling you that to get you to say that once you join his group and denounce your country, he can do whatever he wants to then. In any which way, the Geneva Convention can't do a thing. If there was one, I didn't know, but I knew that was not. I said, but you're going to be a traitor on top of that? Well, they were scared. We weren't soldiers, and we had no training if we ever caught as being a prisoner of war. None of that. We never went through that. We're just kids. So the general said, oh, so there's always one, you're the tough guy. You're the tough guy, all right. So after that first day, he would bring me and another guy and sit one guy down, have me sit down behind him. He said, all you have to do is just say what we told you to say to the camera, and we won't have to hurt your friend. And he would be begging, screaming. The only thing that saved me there was, and you have to understand, this was a situation that was beyond horrifying, well beyond that. I would focus on like a little dot, little something on the wall. I had this, thankfully, I had this ability to stare at that wall and take the barriers away from the realism of it. I was there, but I wasn't there at the same time. It was a self-hypnosis type of thing. And I could hear the person screaming. Even though if they had one, it was people there, and the army people there, jerked me by my hair and say yes, General. I'd say it. There was no emotion, had no emotion in it. So I'd say no, so okay, you forced me to do this. He did horrible things. Gutted him, cut ears off. Terrible things. Not only, I knew I wasn't getting away with anything. He was going to save me for last. So what he was doing to them, what he was going to do was nothing compared to what's coming from them. But, that was, the way they were screaming, please, don't you say no. So this went on for a while. And I just came to, I was the last one. By this time, I'm down to the bone. All they give us was this liquid stuff in this bowl. It had rust in it and stuff. It's orange and spongy stuff in it. I don't know what it was. And had to use bowel movement stuff. It just came out of you. It stank so bad. I would just go to one end of that little cell and come back. So bad. The last day there of this, I think I was there another day or two after this last day of torture. It was my turn. There wasn't much left of me, really. He was getting so mad, he was getting red in the face. I had to voluntarily say this information to the camera. The camera wasn't on him telling me this, it was focused on me. Before, when it was focused on them, it wasn't focused on me. See, the way he had it lined up, because this, whatever was on this was going to go out to the people he wanted to show, hey, who's the boss up here? No, I knew this was going to get back to people, so. That way there wouldn't be any mistaking. If you joined his group, I'm a traitor. Don't join his group. He's not showing all the things that he was actually doing, even though it was there, and how he was getting us to do it. Last day, well, here it comes. He's going to call me up or whatever. There wasn't much left to do. He got so mad. He said something in foreign language there. Told the other military guys to have their way with him, whatever they want to do. Just do it. He wanted me out of the sight. So I still stayed with the same type of thing. After a while, after a few hours of this, they couldn't stand to do it to me anymore. Through this, somehow I gained their respect, and they could not bring themselves to keep raping me and doing this stuff. They weren't laughing. It wasn't funny anymore. It wasn't that funny anymore. I'd earned their respect. So he came back in, and I think it was the next day. I was laying there, couldn't even stand up anymore. I was nothing but bone and rock, stench, and just everything. And tried one more time, said, just sign the paper. I got it all filled out for you, just sign. And he stomped off out of there. Well, I brought this other fellow in. When the other fellow came in there, laid him down. I could tell he's brand new. He looked really healthy now. First thing he did, he turned that pallet over and put him on. And I was trying to crawl over to him and said, don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. And, pardon me, I'm mistaken. He took his pallet on the flat side and covered me up because I was freezing. He covered me up, and I was saying, don't do that, don't do that. I was saying he was going to get in trouble. I already said my thanks to God and said, I'm coming home as best I can do. Maybe next time around, but that's all I can do. It was not horrific at that moment. It was a peacefulness that came over me. I knew I was done, but at least I did one thing good. I did one thing really good. And also for the other guys, for the ones that did make it. We were all scared. I went up here. It was 5 hours. So, and it just so happens is he started yelling at something. And here come his guards. And I was afraid they was going to really beat this guy up for trying to help me. They pulled him out by his arms, but he was smiling at me. It was as if it was staged. It was on my 57th day. 57th day. I knew this because I could look out the bars, at the end where the main door was that came in. I could see the sun come through that little hole, sunlight come through. That's how I would make a mark on the door every day. That was the 57th day. Day 57. Here come these special police, Navy special police, SPs. I'm in there. It was early in the morning, the sun had just come up. It was the 57th day. And they said, come on, we can go, come on. I couldn't get up, I couldn't. I had nothing left. He said, we gotta go, come on. We gotta get you out of here now. Okay. So they picked me up under my arms. They was going to try to, they had my clothes there. Navy outfit. But they couldn't get on me. They tried to say, see if you get the shoes on. Shoes fall right off because I'm right. They said, just put their arms underneath me somehow. Put their arms on there. And they just pulled me out of there. They put me in the back of this covered truck, wagon, ambulance, makeshift ambulance, mountainous ambulance type of thing. They put me in there. They laid me down on this, all of us. cot mattress there on the gurney with a mattress. I thought, oh, this is heavenly. This is wonderful. They hooked me up to some juices and things. And at that moment, I realized all the things I've experienced in my life, that moment was one of the greatest moments. I couldn't imagine anything nicer than that. They had clean sheets on it. Oh, it was wonderful. Well, then we went on through everything. They still weren't happy with me because they didn't know what to do with me, and I came back to them. They sent me to a place for a while, some private naval hospital for a while. I wasn't aware of this till later on. When I came back to myself, 2 or 3 weeks had gone by, I could get my clothes on again. I mean, I'd put on a little weight. I didn't remember being awake. After this happened, I was on the midnight shift, but they wouldn't give me anything to do. They said, just go in anywhere you want. I said, but I have to have a job or something. No, do whatever you want. So I didn't have a job, but they let me wander around the ship all night. What do you do on the ship all night? You look through the spaces there, out into the ocean. You fall off there, jump off, whatever. You never see it again. That's what they hooked me to do. Well, they knew I was miserable. The doctor said he didn't want to see me in his place ever again. Everybody was mad at me, couldn't understand why. I was made to go in this room, small bulkhead room up in steel, and this military guy was so much many stripes and scrambled heads on like I'd never seen before. So this guy's like from Washington, D.C. kind of person, serious. He had a stack of paper and said, you're going to sign this is what you did all this time. He asked me, how long was I there? I said, 57 days. He said, you remember that? I said, yes. I said, anyway. He was breath, he went, that's amazing. He was wanting to cite me out. I said, you never were there. I don't care what you say. You understand? And if you ever say anything different, we're going to put you away forever. And we own you. You are our property. I said, now sign your name to all this. I said, but that's not true. He said, you sign it, or you going in there for not following orders, and that's it. I said, it's one of those, so I signed it. I realized my time was coming near. I had no job, but I had to float around. I had me sign all this. I knew they were thinking, okay, how are they going to get rid of me? How are they going to get rid of me? I had nothing left to think.
Yeah.
So the morning came up, the shift change. I was up there. I never drank coffee. Caffeine was too strong on me. Well, I have to do a makeshift suicide type of situation, but I know it's not actually going to do me. I swallowed a bottle of aspirins, and I drank like 3, 4, 5 cups of coffee, so it's going to make my stomach hurt, something terrible. I told him what I'd done. He said, get down there to the infirmary immediately. That doctor was so mad, he was red-faced. You're not going to do this to me. You're not going to do this to me. They poured charcoal in me until nothing was coming up but black. And his assistant said, he can't take it anymore. You keep pumping that in until I tell you not to put it on. The next day, from the captain of the ship, sent orders, dropped me off at Rhoda, Spain on the next helo out. Sent me out. When they put me up on that helo, out there I realized, I thought, I'm free again. I made it off that death trap. I'm free again. So I spent a year there in the country. I realized they had put me in this other place where they gave me shock treatments, things like that, so I didn't remember anything. Trying to erase my memory. But they fried my brain, what they did. So I went through this. Then I went through, after a year, they forced me to sign. I was forced to sign. While I was there, at this place, I got my GED. I went down there to test. They said, this is to find out what you need for your GED. I said, okay. So I was in medical hold status. I I did so good on the preliminaries, I didn't have to test. I got a GED. Okay, now when I get out, now I could possibly go to college. Build on that. They flew me to Bethesda, Maryland. They said, all right, we want you to sign these papers. I said, I was told by my doctors there at Spain to not sign anything. I'm entitled to assistance and pay and medical assistance that the VA now owns. They said, we own you, boy. We'll put you upstairs on that top floor and everybody's going to see you again. Your mommy, your daddy, nobody. This guy with crew cuts, looking down on me way up here. And I'm in a little teeny desk they put me in. So I signed it. They flew me back to get my things. The doctor said, I told you not to sign. I said, what do you expect me to do? Huh? They do want me to tell them that. They said, when you sign this paper, I think it was $2,000, $2,011. I can never get any other type of pay, assistance, nothing, no medical, nothing from military, ever. Don't even think about it. So it was like 40 years grinding. I made it through it. I get 100% total permanent status at this time.
You're 100% now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
It took many years.
how did you, how were you able to fight that? How were you able to get that all turned around then?
Oh, well, for a while, I just stayed with my Aunt Hazel, boy, it's like my mom figure. She said, I can't stand to see you laying on the couch. So they did something over there too. Now, during this time, I had forgotten what I had remembered.
Wow.
I didn't want to remember it anymore.
Yeah, right.
She said, they did something to you. So she went to, she was a bartender somewhere, part-time, and she called back. She said, here's a phone number. First, she said, you need to go to the VA and tell them they owe you money, they owe you benefits. I went down there and they said, boy, you don't tell us what to do. We don't owe you nothing. You're just too lazy to work. What's your problem? Get out of here. We don't ever see you. So she brought me a phone number to a place in Charlotte, North Carolina. She said, you go up there and this person will help you. Finally, a person, he was a straight up guy. He was about to retire. Oh, he was retired. He was doing this on the side for just a few years. He said, no, I'm going to get you this set up. They're going to test you. So eventually, you get up 50, 70%, maybe higher. But the hardest part is going to be getting the first 10%. Because they're not going to want to do that. They're not going to want to do that. So that part's up to you. All I can do is get you in there. And that was another hell thing. But somehow, it just keep one thing after another 2 years. I did go back to school. I did graduate associate's degree, broadcasting, communications, with honors, 4.0 with honors, and went to, became involved with performing arts, some plays, and really enjoyed the spotlight. I enjoyed it, the collaboration and bringing words to life. This was something I trained myself to do because I had the vocal changes and the different experiences now to shape all these things up.
Yeah.
So I did that, and there was ups and downs and ups and downs. I wasn't able to work better. I knew I just couldn't do it. I'd made it to 10%, that's $70 a month. How was I going to even make it on my dad? Wasn't going to help me nothing. So I found this job in Charlotte. I had all me as waiters. South's most famous old-fashioned fish cake. These guys were pros, man. Thought, well, I used to be a pro pop, maybe I could do this. They're making a lot of money, and just working about 20 hours a week. That way I could get, when I rested, I had to rest 2 or 3 days in a row. And complete darkness. It was just a situation. How I was responding to the years. Just how it went. And, but I did such a good job there. They understood something wrong with me. I had this time off, but they worked around me. And I was able to pay the living, I lived in a trailer, mobile home. I did all right for a long time, 17 years.
Wow.
17 years. And opportunity came up where the doctor said, look, you're either going to have to get away from your dad or you're going to die, you understand me? Your blood pressure is so high, you could die any moment. I said, you understand what I'm telling you? You let your dad get away with one more thing, you're dead. You might even make it another appointment to see him. You understand how serious it is? You're going to have to tell your dad you're moving out. I don't care what you're doing. See, he had me renting a house from him. And he said, when I rent my house from him, I have no contract signed, but I have to stay there for the rest of my life. And he gets to live in a camp off my electricity in the backyard on his acreage. And it's mine. So everything had to be fixed, came out of our salary. So that's when I got 30%, and I was making a little money. So I knew my dad had this little place at Myrtle Beach. It was an old, kind of run-down old place, but he bought it pretty reasonably. And actually, he was going to rent it out in the summer and make him some money. That was his plan. I said, look, I went to him, straight to him. This after a few suicide attempts through the years. I had no way out. Couldn't get away from him. Couldn't get around him. I told him what my doctor said. I said, I have to go. You have that place at Myrtle Beach. I take that. I can buy that from you. You know I'm good to pay, make my payments, but I'm leaving here. He said, but you have an agreement. I said, it's not worth my life. I'm dying. You understand? I'm dying. I'm going to die. Do you understand me? So all that means nothing anyway. You're going to get it back anyway, so you have it. Take it. He said, well, I'm not doing that. So here's the thing. In the morning, I'm packing in my car, and I'm leaving to go somewhere, wherever it may be. I won't be back here. So either you could keep me on the leash and make some money off that old property, it's worth nothing anyway. It was aggravation to try to rent it, or you have this. He wanted to know how much I had in the bank. I said, I think I had about 4,000, all in all, 4,000 something. He took every penny I had in the bank for the down payment and gave me like a 20-year mortgage on it. When I got down there, I had a little dog too. It was like I was free at last. Best money I ever spent. And my life started picking up. I got involved in music, emceeing shows, singing, doing karaoke shows, dance contests, pool. I became like best pool shooter in the area. I played people for whatever they could play for. I wasn't a hustler, but you have to have the money up front to cover it. If I lose, I lose. You can quit wherever you want to. I gained a reputation down there. That wasn't always the best thing, but after a while I gained some respect. And during this time, things kept going. It got to 100% disability. I kept pushing that. I was pushing against PTSD. They didn't want, this was political. They never wanted me to talk about the Beirut stuff. Never, ever. So they knew me when I'd come into VA with all this stuff. I met this young lady. And she was the love of my life. I knew she was the one. When I saw her, she saw me, and I knew if I ever saw her again, I was going to say, look, you can sit at my table here, I'll buy you anything you want to drink, if you just talk to me. She liked to sing karaoke too. But she was nervous in there. She was a lady of color, and this place had a Confederate flag in there. I said, you come in here, I'm respected. There's nobody gonna bother. It's the only place around that had karaoke just starting up on Sunday nights. There was no other place doing that. And she loved karaoke when she got away from her family, and her husband was never home. Legally husband. He was never there. And so I was going to I took a day off every once in a while just to rest. Because I'd stay up almost all night, sleep. But I was energized. I had so many things clicking.
Yeah.
So many things clicking going on. Plus I have medications too, but I can work the medications to my benefit. My voice came to me and said, you need to go down there tonight. So, now this was an inner voice. So I'm tired, I'm just for a rest. Go down there tonight, put your clothes on and go down there right now. I went down there, that was the time she came in. It was the first Sunday they started. And it went like that. She had just, we got to know each other just like meant to be. She said she knew she was going to meet something, and she knew something. She was a specialized nurse for patients with PTSD, bipolar, all that stuff. And she was top of her field. Very respected. She went with me to get all this back paperwork through all 40 years. Through that year, we got it all approved. And just a few weeks before, and we even got a senator on our side. And it was approved through a special congressional group. We had all this, and it was coming. And she wouldn't. Her husband wouldn't give her a divorce if she asked for anything. Well, we'll be all right. But she had the children, she worried he wouldn't want to look after them. He was a truck driver. He had other lives. She knew that. I knew that. I mean, it was easy to figure that out. I went to an apartment. You couldn't even tell a man ever lived there. She said bring in a suitcase once in a while. And she found all this paperwork with stocks she'd been investing in years and years. I knew a little bit about stocks from helping my dad with stocks years earlier. So I knew a little bit about how it worked in the graphs and things. She said, is this what he has? I said, he has gold stock, gold bond. This is good stuff, solid. She said, I'd like to have some for my children. I said, well, you're entitled to half of it. She said, I'm scared. I said, well, would it be that bad, really? I mean, she said, you don't know. I said, well, you think about it, okay? She wanted to get this surgery done, a cyst. She had a cyst. See, we knew all this was coming. We didn't know how big it was going to be, but it was going to be enough for she could stay with me, and she would be paid to help with me, be with me, and we could travel, all our dreams, and just do what we wanted, finally. She got a phone call at night. I was up there in the hotel. She was going to have surgery the next day. She wanted to get a place away from him. So we went to my hometown of Gastonia Memorial Hospital. She just wanted to be away from him. She said, but she didn't have a good feeling about it. Well, he called that night and he said, you understand, you're never going to get that money. That money's mine. And I will kill you before you get that money. Nobody cheats me out of my money. She said, well, I'm entitled to it. I said, we'll see about that. The next morning, in there, things didn't feel right. Took her in there, come out. She was in bad shape. It was supposed to be a little place going here to pull this out. They had carved her up right here, cut her open, and she was laying there about to die. About to die. And they told me, if I see them stung around there, they're just going to put me upstairs with the crazies or something crazy. I said, what are you talking about? I'm not saying leaving her here. I said, I will get her out of here. I said, I'm going to make some calls now. They saw it was serious. They got nervous. I said, I'll call the head of this hospital, and I did. They picked up the first time. I said, I want her out of that. I want her to get as healthy enough to get out of this hospital. I'm getting her out of here. Or I'm going to the courthouse right now. I'm going to papers. Whatever I have to do. You're not getting away with this. I took some finagling, got her out of there. She was so sick. She had a big hole in her. She was supposed to have this nurse. The nurse came in back at Myrtle Beach. She said, I can only stay this one time. What's going to happen to her? We got nowhere to take her. She has a hole in her. Will you show me what to do? So took her, we got her better. And then things got crazy. People that wearing all kind of clothing, bookends. I thought, I can't buy into this type of manic stuff going on, because it's so easy to fall into it. I can't help but notice it. She got very sick. I had to get her to a hospital, do something. She said, don't take me anywhere. I'll never come back in here alive. You'll never see me again. They're going to get me away from you, Ricky. And I had to believe her. I had to believe her for what they'd already done. And she going to Charleston at night. I said, I'm taking you somewhere to a hospital down there, VA hospital. One of them's going to take you there. I had no choice. There was a tractor trailer in my lane. There's 2 lanes over here, a middle part, and 2 lanes coming back. It was facing me, no lights on. Out going over on the way to Charleston, about 1:30 at night. And smack into it. But before I hit him, I pulled it where I could get the blood out of it. So it might be possible that Elizabeth would be all right. But if it was, even if it didn't, in that moment, well, we tried, we'll get out of this together. But if I do this, I got to make sure I don't come back, because I'm going to be the scapegoat of this now. Even though it's hidden, all this stuff going through my mind.
Wow. Yeah, right.
And they said she died. They said she died. I was told. I never saw anything. And I was paralyzed from the waist down. Saying I'd never walk again, don't even think about it. I didn't care. I didn't care. My life's so real. My little dog, he's gone too. Everything. I never go back to it. And I have to live with this, what I did or didn't do. What was the point? I said, series of events came through and I managed to start walking. I'm just tired now. Can't do it anymore. Oh, and all that stuff finally did. Once I survived this thing, the nursing home they stuck me in, they gave me this thing, put stuff up my nose where I had this pus coming out of my face and all. I was supposed to live through that. They talked my way out of there. Got on the owner's side, that was in charge of it. He was scared, but he said, you've been through something bad and they're not going to get away with this. He helped me get through that out of there. He looked at me very worried. I said, don't worry, this isn't going to come back on you. It's not your fault. I was barely scooting my legs, but I had to get out of there. I went back to my little place, Myrtle Beach, on the 3rd floor. The elevator had been broken for years. Best thing ever happened to me. Forced me to walk up and down the stairs.
Right.
And I got stronger. All this stuff was coming in. I got a phone call one day. I thought it was all over on that. I got a phone call one day. The voice said, you're going to receive this paperwork in 3 days. Everything's been approved. I said, really? If there's anything else, let me know. I said, anything? I said, no. Oh, there's got to be something. I said, I can't think of anything. It's got to be something. Got to be something. Well, here, put something in. Anything. I said, why would I put something in? Why? He said, go ahead. We don't mind. But you just have it in here for 3 days. For some reason, my brain started messing with myself. I turned in these things I knew wouldn't work nothing. I turned it in, and things changed because I wasn't mentally right. Also, after this mysterious events that went down, and almost as if I'm rubbing it in their face after all they went to help me. I went through just living in and out of hotel rooms for many, many years, chasing my tail, feeling terrible, like an idiot. What was it all about? And here I am, just been across the United States a couple of times. Don't have a home. And all the things I had, all the music I'd saved, all the life, everything that I paid a person to take it all out, take it away, do whoever was sitting there. So I have no pictures, nothing. And I have to think about that every day, and I have to think about it all night long. Every time I hear a song, I have thousands of pristine songs on CD compilations that I've been saving for 40 years. And I'll go, everything. I wanted just to let it go. And while I ever survive, I'll be nice to others, do nice things. My body started breaking down after a while. I just lost the momentum to really want to try it. I figured, well, this place is always lonely and quiet, but I'm in a place where the people are friendly. I got nothing to go back to anyway. It would be nice if I had love, real love. And I had a couple opportunities, but I was afraid of it. I was just too afraid to push through the scaredness.
Yeah.
And this is it. Sorry for the mini-series.
Wow.
Maybe you can edit it down.
Well, now, did they ever acknowledge that experience in Lebanon? Or is that still scrubbed off the books?
I found out about it. Looking for the reasons for the Beirut War, I went to Barnes & Noble. I said, why is there no information on this and all the other wars?
Yeah.
Why is this not in there?
Yeah.
So let me look. Sure enough, they were in a paperback that they would print out for each person ordered it about Beirut situation. Now, in my pocket, one thing I still had after 40 years was that Geneva Convention card with my picture on it, the date they took it, the night before. See, because when I was released from the Navy, I then turned in my card. But they forgot that I had this card. They didn't realize I had that. That was made separate. So I just turned in my card, the one everyone has, and I kept that. And it had the date and the dates, and it fit right in perfectly with the 57 days. And it started coming with Elizabeth. She helped me bring it all back.
Yeah.
We'd go to this hypnotic type of thing. She'd tell me what a gift that was, and she helped me with it. And I had to go inside myself until we do this and take everything out of me, and she'd write it down. The dates matched up. And in this book, I opened the book, there's a few pictures in the middle. A picture of that main doctor here that was lived on the base when the barracks and the airport got blown up. It was the night of the morning that I was released. It was that night. And the picture of the head doctor that had to separate all those body parts from everything, he was supposedly just a dentist, but he was so much more. He was from that quiet place they took me to get all that stuff. He was always still in this area at that time, so pretty close to it. There was a picture of him. There he was. And I was so emotional, tears flowed down. It's real. There he is. I looked him up. He was out. He was a dentist near Virginia Beach, Virginia, near Washington, D.C. area up in there. I went up there a couple of times. The car started following me and wouldn't let me see him, so I stopped that. I thought, I don't want to mess up his life anyway. But there he was. And I did finally call and speak with him for a few minutes. I called him on his job. I said, this really you, is it? It's happening. He said, yes, it happened.
Oh, man. Wow.
That's where we are. Yeah. Oh, and then this lady neighbor, she said, oh, here you have a book with notes and all that. I started writing all the notes, things. I remember that book. I said, yeah. She said, can I borrow it? I said, I can loan you this, but you can look through it. It shows I was over a prison war. She said, I'll tell you what, let me hold on to this and I'll bring it back to you tomorrow. She never brought it back. I went and asked her for it. She said, I don't know where that's at. She was told by somebody to
Yeah.
take it away from her.
Right.
All the old records and things, they were systematically taking away bits and bits. So I finally told them, just take everything, clear the whole storage building, it's gone, forget it. Just leave it alone. And there you go. Thanks for just hearing me out. I haven't talked to anyone in 3 years.
How long have you been here then?
I've been here since December 1st. Before this, I was at Albuquerque area. Albuquerque area was good, and I had some health problems. I couldn't reach my feet or bottom of my legs anymore, and things were, I said, pain things. Before that, I was in Galveston for about a year and a half. I was there, had a hip replacement. All the hips were crushed by 2011 anyway. They said it was impossible I'd ever walk again. I mean, think my spinal column was condensed, crushed. They did 3 surgeries on it, but it said it was just to sit me in a wheelchair. Don't even dream you're going to ever walk again. The only thing, if you do, you're fooling yourself. We're going to have you on so many drugs, you're going to wish to God you was dead every day. That's why they talk to me.
Wow.
So, I'm still here. I'm just trying to find a reason. It really is difficult to find a reason.
Oh, sure.
Just find a reason. Something that fascinated me. I picked up guitar for a while. Years go by, 20 years ago. Nothing left. Just can't find it. So I've been up here. I'm staying more and more to myself. Even in the cafeteria, it's become easier to stay by myself. I've become more and more nervous sitting around people. I don't want to open up because if someone takes it the wrong way, it could be my fault that I lost the love of my life.
Yeah.
You know, how selfish the thing could be. I don't want to get involved in it.
Yeah.
Well, I did that for many years for people that didn't like me already. So doesn't leave me much even that I can talk about.
Yeah.
I can't talk. There's nothing I have interest in anymore. My physicality is deteriorating. So, not to say that to make you sorry for me. It's been quite an adventure. It's just, I feel I was supposed to go out like this.
Yeah.
This wasn't what it was. I could have just went ahead and expired 40 years ago and left this earth and at least I did something positive. I made it because of my decision making. Of course, some good ones, but then the bad ones of such magnitude every time, such traumatic decisions like that. For someone, you make a few mistakes in that arena, done for. So I'm open for suggestions if anyone has any thoughts on the matter of what my next adventure would be. I'm all ears. Glad to hear it.
Well, Ricky, I don't know what to say. It's incredible story. You've been through an incredible amount in your life. It's I'm stunned.
I'm stunned as well.
Yeah.
Sorry to put all that on you. It's a heavy weight just to hear it. Just to hear something of that of such a long, extended time frame.
Well, I really want to thank you for sitting down and sharing this. I know it had to be hard to share, and
I feel much better now.
Yeah.
I almost didn't come down here. My whole body started shaking like this. I was dry, really. I was push and pull.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to do this, but yet I did.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did. Thank you.
Well, thank you
You
for
did
saying
me a service, a favor. Help me find some closure. You're the first person I've been allowed to speak honestly until from beginning to end. And they even cared to hear about it
Yeah,
without judging.
yeah,
Without
yeah.
judging.
Yeah.
I haven't had an opportunity to even pour that out. So thank you. What you're doing is, wonderful. And I'm not the only one that's got stories that has cobwebs in the attic there. That's the way it is with military guys, especially enlisted guys. Well, not only enlisted guys, all of us. All of us one way or another.
Well, thank you,
All of
once
it.
again, thank you for sitting down. Thank you for your service to our country and the incredible sacrifice you've made to our country. I'm forever grateful. Thank you.
I don't know what it was that I did for this work. You're thanking me for